the Kennedy celebrates the veteran giants of our game in this category, the award of Outstanding Lifetime Achievement, and it's sponsored by Clubs New South Wales. Tonight, it's my very great honour to welcome back to the stage Mr Barry Norman and Mr Peter Neill from Clubs New South Wales to announce this year's winner, a true titan of Sydney newspapers and a mentor to so many.
Hello everybody. As an old newspaper man, I'm really pleased that Peter Coggoy brought along reinforcements to Clubs New South Wales, representing our 1,348 clubs and their 6.5 million members, to convince us to be part of the annual Kennedy Awards, not that it took much convincing. You know, going back 45 years or more, it was my privilege to run for a long time that august organ, labelled so lovingly by former Media Watch presenter Stuart Littlemore as Fairfax's bastard child, the Illawarra Mercury. I was always reminded of two particular quotes from many years ago, and they could probably apply to tonight's awards. The first noted that the mission of a modern newspaper is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. And the second said that news is something, somewhere, that somebody doesn't want reported. All the rest is free advertising. A Lifetime Achievement Award in an industry as demanding, as unforgiving at times as ours, is something to be cheered and cherished. As a young editor, I used to tell cadets or young people just coming out of uni looking to get into the profession that there would be no personal half measures in what they were seeking. If you loved journalism, it would dominate your life, but it would nourish and sustain you. If you didn't, it could kill you. I'm pleased to say we're all still going. In that spirit, I'm very pleased to have Clubs New South Wales be part of this Lifetime Achievement Award to be announced now.
I'd like to announce the winner as one of my good friends, John Smith.
Tall and tan and young and handsome.
A generation of Australian journalists have got him to thank for their careers.
Probably one of the best and probably the most remembered, not only in News Limited, but I think in Australia.
I'm just so pleased for him that he's finally got some particular recognition for what he's done over all the years and the number of people that he's helped.
So if any person or any photographer in the world deserves it, it's him.
He was very much like a friend, more a friend than a boss of a section.
He would give you an assignment which I think suited you, or your particular personality of photographer, and you had to perform.
He taught people to be hungry for journalism, to be hungry to inform people.
He brought his intelligence of the photographic system and how to be a news photographer and instill that into the people that were working with him and under him.
The amount of time he spent, not only actually as a supervisor or a pictorial editor, but also as a mentor.
But he did it in such a light-hearted way. He wasn't your chief of staff or your bloody editor. He was just this engine room of enthusiasm, a great addition to the ranks of great journalists in Australia.
He was great to work with. It was part of the fun of that era.
What's your fondest memory of working with John Smith?
The day I left. No, not really. We had a lot of good times together.
We were all family, and John was part of my family.
John's era of photographers were such a fun group of people. They really were. And I loved every minute of it.
The darkroom was a theatre. There were so many characters in the game that I couldn't list them.
I actually pushed this gentleman through a wall, injured my hand doing it. The next morning I was turning up for work and there was Smithy walking up the footpath and he said to me, "Oh, so how's the hand?" I said, oh, it's pretty good, thanks. He said, who was it? And I mentioned the gentleman's name and he said, I hope you got a couple of good ones in.
Quite often you'd think that he could have had a position on the UN, the way he had to deal with all these various personalities.
I got a phone call from Government House. He said, Sir Edacom, the Governor here, we have one of your photographers here in an advanced state of intoxication, and he keeps asking for Peg-Leg Pete, who was Sir Roden Cutler, who had one leg. And I said, no, it's all right, he's had a lot of trouble at home, I'll send a car for him.
He had a tremendous camaraderie with the people that worked under him. He treated them with a lot of respect.
Yeah, look, he had this thing about rewarding every person that he saw by saying, oh, the editor will be pleased.
You had a terrific career and you're a legend yourself, mate.
Oh, thanks very much. I didn't think I was, but thanks very much, and I'm honoured.
What a fantastic line was said in there, an engine room of enthusiasm. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a living legend, and he's come all the way from the Central Coast to be with us here tonight for this incredible award. Look at the big screens, avert your attention to the table over here, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey John, what more can I say after that wonderful tribute?
I think they said it all, buddy.
John, I've known you for approximately 55 years, both as a friend and colleague. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's about right.
You are and were always a great friend and manager of people, mentor, and you could always do it with a smile.
Oh, thanks a lot. As far as I was concerned, I was going to work and I was doing my job. I didn't think it was any big deal.
John, would you please let me say something from a former colleague. He worked on the now defunct Long-Time Sun newspaper. He sent this email to me a couple of weeks ago and he asked me, could I read it out? Mr. Smith, please accept my apologies for being unable to attend your award night. I would like to thank you for your friendship and guidance to me during my press career. A special thanks for taking the picture of me wearing my kilt when I was a copy boy at the Sun newspaper. Mr. Smith, you are one in a million. Cheers, Russell McFedrin. Would you like to say something now?
I took a picture of him. I encouraged him to wear his kilt. He was a fairly new Australian and he was a copy boy. I convinced him to get up on a table and do an Irish jig or a Scottish jig on the table and then sent him down to the editor with some pictures. And when he walked into the editorial room, the whole editorial staff stood up and clapped, and he was so embarrassed. He still remembers it today.
Great story. Thank you very much.